Hey everybody, welcome to BODS Mayhem Hour. I'm your host, John the Bod, aka the Bod Father, and as always, I'm bringing you guys awesome interviews. And today it is an honor and privilege to have Mr. Reed Mullin. He's the drummer and backup vocalist of the mighty Corrosion of Conformity. And they have a new album, No Cross.
You got that right, that's right. Yeah, Reed Mullin, yeah.
New album, No Cross, No
John
Crown.
the Bod?
Yeah.
Are you a wrestler?
No.
Oh, sounds like you would be.
Yeah.
Well, damn it, man. What's going on? How are you? What the fuck is up, Chuck?
Doing great. Now, you guys...
Where in Kentucky are you?
I'm in the east part of Kentucky, around Floyd County.
Oh, right on. Cool.
So, yeah.
Oh, yeah. So, you get a chance to listen to the new record?
It's actually pretty damn good.
Wow, dude. Yeah.
That's what
Turned
I'm
out
talking about.
fucking killer, I think.
This is really great. You know, No Cross, No Crowns. This marks the band's. This is your guys' first recording with Pepper back in this, man. Over a decade.
Yeah. In a while. Yeah. Because he'd been doing some down stuff, and we got back together for a little while doing the three-piece, like, old punk rock version, hardcore punk rock version of COC from the 80s. We did some little nostalgic stuff and recorded a couple records at Dave Grohl's studio. And so we were busy. He was busy. The whole time, though, Pepper and I had been talking. He would call me about every month. He calls me the Mule. He'd be out with Down, and we'd be out doing a three-piece. Mule. I got the shit happening, man. Too good, man. We got to do it now. We got to do it now. I was like, Pepper, you're on tour with Down. You can't do it right now. So it finally worked out that Down were taking a little break because Bauer was doing I Hate God, and Phil was doing God knows what, one of his 5,000 little projects. So there was downtime there, and the downtime was a three-piece, and yeah, it worked out. We got back together and we did a little tour of the UK and Europe, and we wanted to do it just because we knew it would be fun for us, but it was also like a barometer or a litmus test to see if the fans dug it, if there was people out there that still wanted to hear Corrosion, that version of COC. And the bottom line was we wanted to make sure that we did have fun and we all got along and all that stuff. Because that's the bottom line. You got to have fun doing all this kind of shit. It would be a fucking job.
Sure.
But, yeah, everything came true, dude. People were stoked, super stoked. And we had great crowds. And we got along and actually started writing stuff on the road when we were at sound checks and stuff. And everything worked out. Now, secretly, let me tell you something. When we were doing that Deliverance reunion kind of thing, I was talking to an old buddy of mine the whole time. His name is Monty Connor, and he used to work at Roadrunner Records.
Uh-huh. And
now he's the president of Nuclear Blast. Which is the label that we're on. And the whole time, he would call, just like Pepper was calling me every month when he was out with Down, Monty Connor started calling me every month, going, you guys still want to do, you're going to do a record, right? It's like, well, Monty, I don't know, we're still, just trying to figure shit out or whatever. He said, well, I'm going to sign you guys. And I said, oh, yeah, really? Okay. He said, yeah. Not only was Deliverance my favorite COC record, but it was one of my favorite records of all time. That's what he told me.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy? This is the president of the damn record company.
Wow.
So,
That's actually impressive.
Sure enough, we were on the road. Me and my lawyer got some shit happening. We got a contract happening and showed the dudes. We signed it, and we couldn't be happier. We probably could have got a bigger pile of money, even though we did get a pretty big pile of money. But you can't put a price on the enthusiasm that these Nuclear Blast folks have and Monty has.
Sure.
I mean, when people are stoked and they want to go for it and help you out, you can't put a price on that.
Yeah. I agree with that 1,000%. Yeah, for sure. They're wanting to sign
yes,
you.
Sir.
They're wanting to sign you and you see it. I mean, sign on the dotted line. There you go.
Yes, sir.
Anything impressed you about this new album, Reed? Anything that catches your eye about it, if anything, possibly the most? Well,
to be honest with you, initially, there was a short time there where I was a little bummed out. Let me tell you why. Okay, what the original idea is we were going to demo at our practice place, right? Because Mike Dean, our bass player, has a nice little recording unit there, and we had John Custer, our producer. He lives in Raleigh too, so we were working all the stuff there. But the idea was that we were going to demo the songs and then take them somewhere else to do all the basic tracks. So we were just going to get the ideas at the studio, right, at our rehearsal space.
Mm-hmm.
And then take them to, like, I'm friends with that Dave Grohl guy. He's got a really nice studio in Northbridge. And, no, he does. He's got a really great studio called 606.
Yeah.
And so we were going to do stuff there, or Pepper had an idea for a place. I guess Kansas had done some albums back in the 70s in Louisiana. So we were going to do one of the two, right?
Mm-hmm.
But it ended up being, because Custer's so good at getting, like, good takes out of, like, energy, like, there's something to be said for, like, I could play a song perfectly, right? I could play a song with no mess ups at all, and I did it a bunch of times, and Custer would be like, just try it one more time with, just whatever. He pushed me a little bit, and he's the best. He's sort of like our George Martin. He's been with us since 1991, done every record since 1991, and he's the best at getting, like, the takes out of it, the energy, and you can't. There's no plug-in for fucking energy, man. There's no, like, knob you can turn, and so we were in there rocking out, doing this new album. It was supposed to be demos, and it finally got to the point where those guys came to me and said, they were like, well, we think we're just going to use the demo stuff, and have somebody mix it. I was like, what the fuck are you talking about? Dude, I didn't even tune my drums. Those are broken ass cymbals. They're like, no, they're fucking killer takes though. I was like, oh my God, I'm fucking kill you guys. What the hell are you talking about? Because my headspace was, these were demos, I treated them as such. My drums are all janked up, my cymbals are all cracked and shit. So we ended up finishing the songs there, and we got a good friend of ours who did one of our albums called Wise Blood. He mixed that album for us in I think 96 or something like that. And his name's Mike Fraser. He's on AC/DC and Guns N' Roses. He's a fucking badass mixer, engineer guy. So we took it to him to mix, and damn if I was wrong. They were right, man. It was like, that shit turned out killer. And because you can't, like I said, you can't turn a knob to make vibe happen or energy happen. It's like, you have to capture that shit when it's real. Like the old Sabbath and Deep Purple and fucking Led Zeppelin, they have vibe to them. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
The first two Metallica records, I mean, they have vibe. And there's no knob for that bullshit. So anyway, to make a long story short, that's what happened in the recording thing, is that initially I was really bummed because my headspace was in a different place. I was thinking, like, these are good tracks, but we're just gonna, Reed improvising and doing whatever. Some of the tracks I think I had only played like 2 times, 3 times, 4 times. That's it. Like, period in my life. But we've been playing together so long that it just worked out. I mean, me, Mike, and Woody have been playing together since 1982 rather.
Mm-hmm.
So,
any songs off this new album, Reed, that stand out more to you than any as of right now? Possibly, if you could pick one, maybe, or a couple.
Well, it's not gonna try to pick your best child, your favorite child.
Sure.
But yesterday we did a rehearsal, and we did Wolf Named Crow, and we did the Luddites. I think both those are fucking badass. We're getting ready for a tour with Black Label Society and I Hate God or Red Fang, depends on where you're staying at. So we were trying to get our set together a little bit, and both those, especially the Luddite. There's a lot of drum shit in that motherfucker. Good Lord have mercy. At first we did a video for it, and at first I tried to learn all the different drum shit I did in there.
Yeah.
And after about 45 minutes, I was like, fuck, this ain't no way I'm going to be able to learn all this shit, because it's all improvised.
Yeah.
And plus, I'm a drummer, and I'm a blonde. I can't remember all that crap. That's too much for me. So I ended up just deciding I was just going to improvise live like I did on the record. And it ended up being pretty much the same thing. So, But I think both those are killer. I mean, there's a bunch of really great songs on there. It's like what time of the week you ask me about that, I'll tell you a different song. You know what I mean?
Well, sure, for sure. Now, you guys also, you guys produced this with John Custer, correct? He's a longtime friend of your guys, correct? Familiar?
Yeah. Yes, sir. He's done every record. I think the first record he did with us was the Blind album. That had a different singer. Pepper was in it too. It was and a different bass player. It was me, Woody, Pepper, Phil Swisher was the bass player, and Carl O'Gill was the singer. And Pepper sang one song on there called "Vote with a Bullet." But yeah, that's the first time we ever used a producer, and it was the first time John Custer had ever done an album. He was just a good friend of ours, and we'd heard him do demos with different bands in town, and he was really fucking creative, really good producer. So when we were trying to hunt down a producer for the album, we were on a label called Relativity at the time. It was a big indie. We went through all these really good producers, and it's just jived with us. So we finally asked the label if we could use Custer, and they were all nervous about it because he was untried. He had never done anything before. And we were like, well, this is who we want, so deal with it. And he ended up doing a phenomenal job. That Blind album ended up being like a standard for us in terms of having like cool little musical segues from song to song, which we pretty much do on every album now. We definitely did it on Deliverance and Wise Blood, and we did it on this last one too. But yeah, John's like our George Martin. He's like, depending on how many members of the band are in it at the time, like right now he's our 5th member.
Now, you mentioned that this guy named Dave Grohl, I don't know if anybody else has heard of his name or not, but you guys used his studio, is that right? Or did I hear that correctly on this?
Yeah, I've known Dave since he was a little kid.
Oh, wow. That's cool.
He's from the D.C. area, Washington, D.C. area, and he was a big fan of COC when we were more a hardcore punk band, and a huge fan, as a matter of fact. And he liked my drumming style so much he actually dyed his hair blonde. That's what he told me. Anyway, his very first band was a band called Dame Bramage, like brain damage.
Right, yeah.
Dame Bramage, and his band played with us somewhere. It was either we played with him somewhere or I was just watching his band play. But it was in D.C. and I remember they were real good. And at the time, I had a little indie label with a friend of mine from California, and I signed his band. I put out Dave Grohl's first album, 1984.
That's awesome.
So he and I had been friends for a long time. Yeah. And now that he's like a superstar, he's always been super cool to me, but now he's like, he has this fucking badass studio in Northridge, California called 606 Street. And let's record there either for cheap or for free.
That's awesome. Paying it back, man.
Yeah, no, he's a fucking badass dude. Yeah, he fucking rules.
Do you guys do anything differently during your writing, recording process, to help keep your minds open and fresh to not let the music get stale? Do you guys do anything differently or no?
Nah, man, we've been doing this together for so long. It's natural, like it's an organic kind of process, and I don't know. It couldn't be easier. So, sometimes just like anything else, when you're working real hard on something and you're passionate about something, sometimes tempers flare a little bit, but we're all working for the same thing, and everything always works out. But we've got John there, like John Custer is our producer. He keeps everything stabilized, and I don't know, man. Like I said, Woody, Mike Dean, and myself, we've been jamming since 1982. That's a long fucking time. We learned to play music together. Woody taught me how to play drums. Back in the old days, because when we were playing hardcore punk rock, in the old days, my parents bought me a sparkly drum kit for Christmas. I think it was 1981, something like that, 82, and one of them pawn shop kits. Anyway, Woody came over like a week later and showed me how to do the Ramones drum beat, that thing.
Yeah.
And there you go. He showed me that, and then my friend Eric showed me how to do the Cut Time Bad Brains punk rock beat, that oota 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 oota. So I knew the Ramones beat and the oot oot. And damn if we didn't start Corrosion of Conformity about a month later, because I knew how to play drums.
That's badass. That's awesome.
So we've been playing together for a long time, and me, Woody, and Mike learned how to play together. Like, we started out that way, which is kind of like sort of generic punk rock, hardcore punk rock, but we were good. But we were real into Sabbath and Iron Maiden and stuff like that. And slowly, as we learned how to play our instruments a little bit better, a lot of that stuff leaked in. And like on our first album, it came out in 83, 84, something like that, we do a version of Judas Priest's version of Green Manalishi, Cornucopia from Sabbath is in there. And one of the songs called Redneck is actually Symptom of the Universe by Sabbath, just sped up really fast. So there was a lot of metal influences for us early on. And later we became better songwriters, and we went through the hardcore punk rock phase, and then we had Carl sing for us for a little bit, and that was more of a metal phase. And then Pepper started to sing for us, and we got a little more rock and a little more southern, whatever we are now.
What do you hope the fans take away from the new album once they start to listen to it, or just, Corrosion of Conformity's music in general? What do you hope they get from it?
Copious amounts of pleasure. For the ear balls. Make sure the ear balls is happy. Well, I don't know. I mean, not to sound selfish or like a dickhead, but we wrote we wrote these songs for us. These are the songs that we like, and hopefully it translates and our fans like it. I think they probably will. Mm-hmm. Everybody I talk to thinks it's fucking badass. So, but I don't know. What did you take from it, young man?
I love it. There's nothing better. The sludgier, the better from you guys. I like the old punk stuff. I mean, it's like a roller coaster. It's like a roller coaster of damn.
A roller coaster of damn.
Yeah.
You crazy.
What can fans expect at a show from you guys who have not got to see you all yet? And shame on you if you haven't.
Oh God, let me see. What was that? What was that quote? Oh, it was Mr. T. Yeah, from one of those Rocky movies. What do you expect from the fight? Pain. No, I don't know. We're a pretty sick live band. It's got a lot of peaks and valleys, a lot of heaviness, a lot of It's a pleasurable experience there, Mr. Bob.
I like to see you on some of these festivals that are coming up, like Rock on Range, which I know they already announced their lineup, but, all these other festivals are coming up, Louder Than Life, Carolina Rebellion, stuff like that. I would love to see you guys on this, man, for sure.
No, I would too. I don't know if we're going to be able to do those this year, maybe next year. I was actually at Carolina Rebellion last year. Or this year, or whatever it was.
Reed was incognito. He was like...
no, not really. But, I'm 04. We did a lot of touring with Soundgarden in the early 90s and stuff. So I would go down and hang out with those guys. Same, because I hung out with Chris Cornell that day. I hung out with all of them, but Chris Cornell was telling me about all the shit he had planned for the rest of the year, finishing the Soundgarden record and all this other shit he was going to do. And damn it, the fucker didn't kill himself like a week, 10 days later.
Yeah, that...
Like, Jesus. I've known that dude for I don't know how long. That was a shock, man. That tore me up.
I would imagine so. Me as a fan of their music, ever since they started, it still blows me away. I just cannot put that in the same sentence that Chris Cornell is dead. I cannot put that in the same sentence. It just don't sound right.
I know, it's difficult for me. Yeah. Me and my girlfriend went to the memorial in Hollywood.
Right.
And I went a dry eye in the house. Brad Pitt was crying. Fucking that dude Chester or whatever from
Lincoln Park.
Park.
Yeah.
Did the Leonard Cohen song, and he was sobbing. Everybody was sobbing. And then that motherfucker killed himself too.
I know. That's
That was crazy shit.
2 weeks of craziness in metal music for sure.
Craziness. So anyway, let's not talk about depressing stuff anymore. Let's talk about positive stuff like the badass new COC record. No cross, no crowd.
Let me ask you this. We're in the digital era now of recording albums plus social media. Do you think
Correct.
do you guys like this? Do you see that it's actually helped COC more to get out there to fans more now, or?
Uh, well, I mean, selfishly, I mean, Jesus Christ, you can't make any money these days. Nowadays, to make money, if you're a musician, you just got to tour your ass off, unless you're like, you know, somebody gigantically huge. But still, I don't know. I mean, on one hand, it's nice that people get to share stuff and get stuff for free. But on the other hand, if you work your ass off to create it, you want to be able to make a little bit of money off it as a living. But you can't do that anymore. There's nothing to sell. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like when I was a kid, the very first record label we signed was Metal Blade Records, 1984. And it was just cassettes and vinyl. That's all. Didn't talk about even CDs on there. But at least there was stuff that they could sell. Nowadays, I mean, you know, might sound too much like a capitalist, but we gotta make a living, and it's kind of like turn full circle from when we first started. Because when we first started in '82, the genre of music we were playing, there wasn't that big of a market for it, and there certainly weren't major labels that wanted to pick up punk rock bands. Mm-hmm. It wasn't like there was later when the Green Day and Blink-182 and Offspring and all that bullshit. I mean, this is like early days, and so the most we could hope for is get in the van, like Henry Rollins said, get in the van and tour your ass off and make as much gas money or whatever kind of money you could, and sell your albums that you DIY'd and stuff like that. And it's kind of the same way now. I mean, for us, you know, it's a little bigger version, but because we're touring with Black Label Society and, you know, playing in front of a whole bunch of people every night. But it's sort of the same thing, man. It's like we gotta, yeah. I don't know. I'm ambivalent about the whole experience. I on one hand, I think it's good for the fans, but it's not good for the bands. That's for goddamn sure.
Yeah, I know the tour coming up with Black Label. That's going to be insane. Because
fuck yeah.
You know, Zach to me is by far my all-time favorite guitarist, and I'm not knocking anybody else that's a guitarist out there like Hendrix or, you know, Iommi or anybody like that. Just for me personally, Zach's been my favorite since the first time I heard him.
Oh no shit! Well, you're gonna be stoked. And are we playing near you?
Yeah, I think so, and I'm wanting to try. I want to get out to see you guys for sure.
You better do it, man. For sure. I've never met Zach, but everybody I know a lot of people that have. They say he's the nicest dude in the world. They say he's hilarious too.
He is. I've got to meet Zach several times, and
did you? Cool. That's awesome.
I prepare to laugh your ass off with some of the shit he does. He is just a great guy, man, and just loves his fans a lot. I mean, for sure. And I'm not saying that just cause. You know, I'm talking about Zach and Reed's on here. That's not it. I'm just telling you exactly how it is. You know, so,
right on.
You know, everybody has their good days and bad days. Everybody's not perfect, so it happens.
Well, I can't wait to see him, man. Like I said, I've seen him play doing stuff with Ozzy. I've seen him play. He was at Dave Grohl's birthday party at the Forum. They did some Sabbath songs. I've seen him play, but I've never met the dude. I'm stoked to meet him and see Black Label.
Tell you what, I got to see I've seen Black Label several times, and every time, man, they have not disappointed.
Oh yeah, that's killer.
Just a heavy throwdown show, and that's
right on.
And Zach's 1,000 miles an hour, man. That's the way it should be. You know?
Yeah, fuck yeah.
You can't
I'm with you, Daddy. I'm with you.
If you can't get, hey, this is what I say. If you can't get in your own damn music, how can we get into your music? There you go. Plain and simple.
That's an excellent point, Mr. Bod.
Is there a region or an area or country, Reed, that shocks you guys that you get a lot of support from, possibly?
Yeah, it's changed over the years, but for the most part, everything is. Yeah, we've got a lot of fans, and we got a lot of fans from the old days. We got a lot of new recent fans and yeah, we're blessed that way. We've been around for a while, and we've made a lot of great music, and we're going to continue to do so, motherfucker.
I tell you what, folks, some of my favorite songs off this album, Wolf Named Crow.
Yeah, that's badass.
That is a badass song for sure. Sacred Isolation, Old Disaster.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm not going to give out all the songs I like on here. I'm not going to spoil it for everybody. Pick this damn album up and figure it out yourself. So, you know, this is...
You're a good man, Charlie Brown.
This is kind of old school metalish COC that I really dig. This is really good. So...
Oh, right on. Keep talking, Daddy. Keep talking. Sell it.
Sell. So these folks, COC is going to be out on tour. Black Label Society coming up here very shortly. You want to get out and check this band out, plus Black Label. And I
yes, sir.
Who else is going to be? I Hate God. Is that they're going to be on there too? I think maybe or no.
I don't know if. Well, we've got I Hate God on some of it and Red Fang on some of it. I think it's I Hate God there.
Red Fang's a damn good band too. They get looked over a lot.
Who's that?
Red Fang. Red Fang's a damn good band.
Yeah, two of those guys are from North Carolina. Where are we from?
There you go.
Yes, sir.
There you go.
Oh, yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Reed, how can folks stay in touch with you guys, buy this new album, tour dates? How can they do that? Tell them.
Well, I can get on our damn Facebook page, I reckon. That's usually what you do these days, ain't it, Jackson? Action Jackson. I think Woody and Mike didn't keep up with that stuff pretty good. I'm kind of Reed-tarded that way, so I don't mess with it. I'm Reed-tarded. Reed-tarded.
Before I let you go, would you care to do a promo for the show, good sir?
Fuck yeah. I don't know. Yes, sir. Hey, you got Reed from Corrosion of Conformity. You listen to BODS Mayhem Hour.
Everybody stick around. We got some great music coming up, and you only hear these interviews right here on BODS Mayhem Hour and Uber City Radio. Thank you so much, Reed.
Hey, you got it, dude.